Hello, Animal Fam. Happy Sunday. Kathleen here. I wanted to hop in because yesterday I was going to go live with messages and I had some internet stuff issues that was going off and all that. So here I am with messages for this week. And we are already on October 5th. It's like time goes by fast. I wanted to share with you a quick thought. This morning I came up with a new term, animal empath faux pas. Now I talk about us animal empaths being, we're intuitive and we're sensitive and we're healers and we like to take care of others, especially our animals. But we have to remember to take care of ourselves. So I decided to go in the kitchen and get my mud water beverage that I wanted to have this morning. And my cat, Kit Kat, being the crazy guy he is like, feed me, I need food, I need food. So I'm like, okay. So I go and I feed him. I give him some cat food. And then I go back and sit down because I was journaling and I went, oh, I forgot to get my mud water. I forgot to get my beverage for me, moi. So I'm calling this an animal empath faux pas because we need to take care of ourselves first before anyone else. And I was watching, I don't know if you've seen it, there's this guy, he's up in like Niagara Falls, Canada, and it's Pal, I think it's Mike and Buddy's Pal channel or something. But Pal is a very well-trained German Shepherd. This dog is amazing. If you haven't seen his channel, like he does whatever he tells him to do, and he's like never on a leash. But he went and got some food. He got a steak sub without the roll for Pal, the German Shepherd, and then a steak sub for himself. But he was saying, I think the guy's name is Mike, he was like, but I eat first. That's like the hierarchy is, he eats before the dog eats. And, so, it's part of dog training as well. But, that was for the benefit of the dog to understand, you're the leader of the pack. But also it's self-love and, we have to take care of ourselves, right? Before anyone else so that we can sustain ourselves. So I wanted to throw that thought out there. Now I've got a new deck here. And Linda Kohanov, who I know, Way of the Horse, and this is her equine archetypes. Now I have not read the book, but I have the cards, and I'm going to go off the wall here with my own intuition and my own interpretation. So this might not be anything along whatever Linda's saying in the book in her card pulls, her card interpretations. But I'm using this to come up with a message for you today based on what I'm getting. And I want to start with this one. I've got a 5-card pull here, and I arranged it in the best order I see. But this is about self-love and understanding our power. And this is what's coming to me intuitively because as I just talked about, the self-love, here she is with her arms wrapped around herself, and the horse is there, symbolic of that power within us. And I want to reiterate to you that you are a powerful spiritual being with dignity, direction, and purpose. So you have a purpose in life. So above all, understand your power that you all have within you, and remember to love and respect yourself as well for that power that you have within you. So wanted to share that with you, making sure my lights stay on this time. But yeah, that is self-love, self-empowerment. And are you in a situation in your life, whether it's relationships, whether it's with a boss, somehow, somewhere in your life, and it could be toxic family stuff as well that you're tied to. Now, when this came to me, when I pulled this one, I really saw, the ties that we have to the strings that are attached, and sometimes the bonds that can feel toxic or can, maybe put us down. Maybe they're draining us. Do you ever feel drained by somebody that you're talking to, whether it is a friend, a relative, or anybody? It could be in business or anything, and there's toxic ties. In my little virtual program around reclaiming your power, I show you, or I take you through cutting those ties. It's a cord cutting ceremony around cutting the ties that you may have that are, a toxic connection to someone. And you can see, I see these as cords, cords that you may have that are ties to someone else. It's time to break free. Break free from any of those ties that are draining your energy. Okay, so this is really important right now. Got to start by loving yourself, understanding the power within, and breaking those ties that are, those connections you may be having in some toxic way. So if you want the link for that course, it's like $47. Well worth I think I've got 6 lessons in there, which contain guided meditations that take you deep to finally release things and to heal. So I thought I would just mention that. It's also important to, and my interpretation of this is, have compassion for other people's viewpoints. Now, even if you're coming out of, let's say, a toxic relationship or whatever, we don't want to carry resentment for other people. We don't want to feel like, oh my gosh, this person is such an idiot. Been there, done that. There's anger. We have anger around grief, around letting go, around cutting the ties and stuff. But for our own self-healing, it's important to know that everyone else has their own stuff. They've been through stuff in their life which has been really difficult a lot of times. Maybe they had abuse. And I want to share a story. I was watching this near-death experience video. This woman had this near-death experience where she was kind of shown, like she kind of flashed back on her life. Some people call it a life review. So she was looking back at her life, and there was, I think she was a nurse, and there was another nurse that was behaving badly, and she was really judging this person for her behavior, like what, however this woman was behaving that she didn't think was right. And what they showed her in this life review was not to judge this person, because this person had been through some really dark times, a really difficult childhood. They had had abuse of their own. And so, she gained an understanding. She gained some empathy and compassion. And I know those of us empaths, by the way, we have great empathy. But when we really get burned by those toxic people, whether it's narcissists or whatever, who can use and abuse us, we want to avoid being bitter. Again, it only hurts us. We need to let go of whatever toxic ties there are, but also the bitterness. And so this is, again, my interpretation. So see it from others' point of view, let go of any bitterness. And of course, in this world of, by the way, politics and just from a world view, you know, we're going at it with each other. You know, we're headbutting, almost like here. We're really headbutting with each other. I was talking to a family member yesterday who said, oh my gosh, I can't mention politics at all, or they just start yelling at me. And so besides, you know, seeing it from other people's viewpoint in our personal life, also, you know, we need to come together in the world and have respect for those viewpoints, don't we? Or at least, you know, freedom of speech, freedom of whatever is going on in the world. And like that near-death experience, trying to see it through other people's eyes. Because we all have different experiences and different viewpoints. And, yeah. So, compassion, empathy, and like I said, as empaths, we can really get burned and lose some of that empathy. And we don't want to do that. We want to keep our empathy in spite of our disagreements. So, I pulled this card, and for me, again, it's like seeing beyond the situation. You know, I was just talking about, you know, we're seeing it from other people's viewpoints as we did previously. But now, you know, once we let go, you know, we've let go of the ties, we need to look beyond the situation. Because what I saw here with the one horse is kind of, you know, yes, we have this situation here, but looking past that situation and seeing it in a different way. Looking down the road as well, you know, now that we've cut the ties, now that we've allowed ourselves to not feel bitterness, what do we see in the path ahead? You know, what's ahead of us? What's beyond the situation? What path is waiting for us now that we've let go, we've released, we've healed, we see compassion? What's the path we see beyond this situation? So it's important to get clear on your personal path that's beyond where you're at now. So see past that situation, get clarity on where you're going next. What's the next step? What's past this? Let's get past it. And what's interesting is I see that dichotomy, or whatever you want to call it, between maybe it's happening in your personal life and you need to look ahead to the new path that's ahead. And what that situation is beyond, maybe beyond an individual that you've been dealing with. What's that path beyond? But also in the world, looking beyond what's going on here and looking at the road ahead and coming to other conclusions. We can get so bogged down with where we are in the world and only seeing it for what it is right now in the moment. But let's look ahead. Let's formulate a vision that goes beyond the chaos of where we are now. What is the vision ahead for all of us, both in your personal life and in, you know, in the world and everything that's going on with everyone? Look ahead, look for that vision and focus on that. And, it's like Think and Grow Rich and The Secret and all of these other thoughts out there and thought leaders. There's always this vision. You've got to have a vision for where you're going. So you want to look past where you are, past the current situation, and look for that other vision that's out there. And it's going to get you moving in the right direction, because you don't want to stay stuck. You don't want to stay in all of this stuff that's happening, whether it's in your life or in the world. So have that vision. And how do we get to that vision? And I'm going to end this with this number 13 card. That vision is through your imagination, because when I look at this card, I see the clouds. And when we see the clouds, we're looking at that far off thing, and clouds, really open our imagination. You might look at a cloud and you see, you might look at the clouds, and maybe you're seeing a face, right? People share photos of, there's a face, there's a dog, there's an animal, there's something. Tap into your imagination when you're creating this vision for your life ahead. So Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. And if, by the way, you are a healer in your own work, what I help people do is get out of their head and into their heart. And our heart is where our imagination is. It's our subconscious mind. So get out of your head, get into your heart, use your imagination to create that path that's ahead and to get unstuck. Your imagination is your power, right? It's part of your power. And it's going to help propel you forward from whatever toxic ties you may have been stuck with. So yeah. And how I help others to really dive deep into their imagination is to relax. Again, getting all analytical and spinning around in your head is not going to get you going in the right direction. So you want to breathe, you want to relax, light a candle, burn some incense, put some sage around to refresh the area, open the window, get some fresh air, let the stagnants, whatever, out. And you want to open your window if you're going to use sage to clear the air. And get some clarity around, your direction by going deep. So you want to go deep into that imagination. Children are at that imaginative level. They're really very powerful. We're very powerful early in life when we're in that imaginative state. Kids are good at, using their imagination, creating things, drawing things, painting things, playing in the sand. I had a period where I went off and I made chocolates for a while because I felt, for me, it was like getting back into my imagination, playing in the sandbox. What do you need to do to get into your imagination? Relax, go deep, get off that merry-go-round of all the stress in your head. And it might require playing with art, getting out a paintbrush or some pencils. Get some colored pencils. So think about ways to get into your imagination so that you can get on the right path. And if you're really stuck in your head and you just don't know and you need some help, message me to book your clarity and purpose call. I'm going to give you your own private animal wisdom message for some instant insight. And we'll also talk about where you're at, what your goals are, and what you need to move forward so you can get unstuck and on track. So I want to throw that out there as well. So message me if you want to book a call and talk, go deeper on that if you're feeling stuck in life. We empaths do that a lot because we are so empathic, we are so sensitive. So we pick up on other people's thoughts, other people's emotions, and their path isn't necessarily our path. And so we got to get clear on what is our path. What direction do we want to go in, not the one that they want to go in. And so you've got to reconnect with yourself. Get back to you and your power and that imagination that's within you and not someone else's path and someone else's imagination. Okay, so that's what I've come up with today. And thank you for tuning in. Would love to know your comments below. Where are you stuck? Do you resonate with these messages? If you're watching this on my Mustang Mindset Messages, excuse me, you got an itch there, my Mustang Mindset Messages YouTube channel, please subscribe and like, and I will see you for the next live video in the Animal Angel Connection group. And I want to send you a virtual hug and thank you for tuning in today. Really appreciate you being here. And I hope this helps you in your life and on your path. So thank you again for being here. Bye for now.